TJ, let's talk non-conference first. 12-5, 8 at home, wins against Ole Miss, Iowa. You lost to Kansas, Wichita State. How does year two feel different so far than year one for you?
I think the main thing is that the players, the relationships with the players have grown much stronger, and as a result of that, I think they have a much better understanding of what we're looking for from them, and I have a much better understanding of what they can do to be successful. And I think that relationship and that familiarity has been invaluable. Certainly you return seven of the top 9 guys as well from an NCAA tournament team. You've got a lot of experience back and a lot of comfort there. So I think that synergy has really been helpful as we move forward this year.
Yeah, and it showed up in the non-conference play because there was not that having to figure everything out like you were last year, and you guys pretty much hit the ground running. I mean, offensively, the numbers you're putting up are impressive in just about every category.
Yeah, I think our guys do a great job sharing the ball. We're definitely a team that has a lot of guys that can score the ball and shoot the ball from the perimeter. I think their unselfishness and playing for each other has really been great. Certainly with Mike Dahm, he's a little bit more on the perimeter, opens up the floor a little bit more for some driving, and he's shooting the ball at such a high rate from three that it gives us the ability to be a threat, both attacking the rim and at the three-point line.
And you're really taking care of the ball too, TJ.
Yeah, I think, we're trying to get to a point where we're not taking as many risks, where we're making sure plays, we're making simple plays, we're playing fundamentally sound, because we feel like, for our offense that it's very effective, and if we're able to get a shot at the basket on every possession, I feel like we can do a really good job.
So much of the early part of last season, the angst was about the defense. What are you going to do? You're going to play man, you're going to play zone. How do we best defend on this team? Defense certainly seems to be much more solidified this year than it was last year.
Yeah, I think, we're trying to be a lot more intentional about what we do. I think there were certainly things to start last year that as a coach you get an opportunity, and there's certain things you might believe in. And as you go through the year, you realize they may not fit with the personnel and the team and then the conference that you're in. And I think that was something last year that I certainly learned as the season moved on, and we adjusted and tweaked some things. And liked how we were defending at the end of last year. I think we've done a reasonably good job there. There's still some areas we can improve on, but all in all, pretty happy with our progress.
Mike Dahm is Mike Dahm. I mean, we've seen the exact sort of offensive numbers we have expected to see from him. And is rebounding a really undervalued part of his game, TJ? Do a lot of people overlook his ability to do other things besides score?
I think it's just he's so elite in that department. He has such phenomenal touch and ability to put the ball in the basket, and especially as, a big man, and ability to score in so many ways that you just focus all your attention there. And I think Mike's made a lot of progress. I think he has made progress defensive rebounding-wise. I think he's made progress as a passer for sure. I think he's made progress in his ball handling, putting the ball on the floor. So I think there's a lot of areas he continues to improve, but he just draws so much attention for his ability to score that it's hard to get past that and look at those other things sometimes.
And then David Jenkins. I mean, every coach wants to say, oh, yeah, I knew this kid was going to be this good. That's why we recruited him and brought him here. Did you think he'd be this good this quick?
Wasn't sure how quickly it would click for him. You never know really with a freshman when you bring him in, because everybody adjusts at a different rate. And David's got such tremendous confidence. We knew physically his body that he had really worked on it, and he was strong, and we knew he had some toughness, and we knew he could really make shots. Didn't know it would translate quite as quickly as it has. His confidence is really, you look at some of our bigger non-conference wins when games like Iowa and Ole Miss, and, there's games where he was making key shots down the stretch. The ball was in his hands a lot against Ole Miss down the line and as well. So he's really done a great job stepping up, and we've continued to call on him more and give him more responsibility, as time moves forward.
And it gives you another option so defenses can't just sag in on Mike.
It does. I think that, when teams look to double or trap or do different things in the post defensively against us, you really have to decide what you want to do, because we're making about 11 threes a game at 42% as a team. And David's a guy that can make a bunch of them, but Reed's shooting at a higher percentage. Skyler, Lane, Tyson. I mean, across the board, everybody's shooting the ball a notch better than they were last year. So, and those are shots that we're really comfortable taking. So I think it puts a little bit more pressure on opposing defenses when they're trying to make those decisions about Dylan and trapping Mike.
You mentioned the three-point shooting, double digits in threes 10 times this year. And Reed, boy, in the last 3 weeks, Reed's numbers have been off the charts in terms of accuracy.
Yeah, the ball's really coming off his hand well. I think he's being selective, taking great looks, but he's shooting it with tremendous confidence. And we really, I mean, for him out there, we know he can make that shot, and we know he can can put a lot of pressure on opposing defenses. So really excited to see him step up, as a senior here and take his game to that next level.
So David's now worked himself into the starting lineup. You've been using Tevin King a lot. Are you solidified on a 5 going into conference play?
Yeah, it can still change just based on matchups. We really think Severin started a lot for us late last year and started last game, and Tyson has started when we've gone bigger, and Howell started for us at the end of the year last year, and even Key early this year. So we're not necessarily married to any starting lineup. It's really something that we're going to put the group out there that we think gives us the best chance to win the game on a given night. But all in all, it's something that definitely, we like to keep changing too, to keep guys fresh also and kind of keep motivated.
And so here we go with conference play and a couple of real tests to start things out. Wednesday night, a very tough environment up in Fargo. They've got some holes to fill. They had some surprise departures with Dupree leaving, but Paul Miller's still back, and as long as Paul Miller's there, they got some offense.
They do. I think they're a very well-coached team. I think Coach Richmond does a great job. They play with a great sense of purpose and identity, and obviously you've got a guy like Paul who's a phenomenal player, one of the best guards in the league and has been for years, and, he can play the point, the 2, put him in different spots. He can shoot it, drive it, score in the mid-range, really an effective player, and I just think, they do a great job knowing who they are, and their team and their guys make sure that, Paul's always getting the ball and getting looks, and he does a great job scoring.
And as you look at their schedule, Coach, this is a team that's done it a few different ways. They've won games where they've scored in the hundreds, but they've also won games where they've scored 57, and so they're capable of doing both.
Yeah, I think in general, they're a team that's really good in the half court, but also one that if you try to go after them and exploit some things, they'll attack you as well. And I think they've shown that they can certainly do that. So, we're aware of that. I think we're similar in some ways that, we can play different tempos. We, beat Irvine the first game, scoring 65, and we've had a fair amount of games where we've been up over the 90s and into the 100 range. And so, just the time and situation and the opponent and a lot of variables dictate that, and we just kind of go with the flow.
And then Saturday night, you travel down to Omaha, rematch of the Summit League title game from last year, but a different look to the Mavericks this year. No Trayshawn Thurman, no Traydon Hollins, no Marcus Tice, but they still have that same up-tempo attack.
They do, and I think they're playing 4 guards a lot more this year, and especially with Hahn being out for them. I think that gives them a unique advantage because they're so quick and so fast and really can get up and down the floor. So it's going to be a challenge for us to defend them with their quickness and their speed, and we're going to have to be really intentional about how we play offensively to keep them out of transition.
All right, so we mentioned 2 tough tests on the road to start conference play. How did non-conference play prepare you for the test this week?
Yeah, I think we're really fortunate. To play great teams like Kansas and Wichita State on the road, I think those games really helped us. Then you look at, the Ole Miss, the Colorado, those games on the road, I think, too. It's just really a challenging schedule. You go to the Cayman Islands, and you play 3 really good teams with Wyoming, Buffalo, and Iowa. So I think across the board, we've just had a really good non-conference schedule. I think, Missouri State's picked to win the Missouri Valley, and looks like they're that team right now. They're playing, too. So just a tremendous non-conference schedule, really challenged us. We got some key wins, and we grew as a team, and I think learned through some adversity and came together as a result. So really what we had hoped to accomplish came to fruition. Now we just have to keep building on it.
And then with 1 fewer team this year, 2 fewer conference games, boy, that just means every game has that much more importance.
Yeah, they really do. Everyone is critical, and you only play 14. It's tough, and so everyone wants to get out of the box early, and every game is extremely important. So we've got to do everything we can to put ourselves in position to win. And starting 2 games on the road, it's you've got to have that toughness and that mentality going on the road to win. And certainly need to have that tomorrow night. When we're up in Fargo.